Hi guys! So, this video, in my terms, it feels long overdue, but this is topic of today is let's get honest. The reason, if you've been following me on Instagram, it's Emmy_lifestyle_reset. The reason why up until this point, being 29th of January 2019, I have been quite vague in talking about mental health, and I've kind of said that my headspace was fucked, but nothing else. The reason for that is because there was a few people in my life that I need to get honest with first before I'm honest with the whole world, because I value those friendships, I value those relationships. There are people close to me, and if you are in, like, social media is a great platform for connecting, for sharing your story, for talking about what you want to talk about if you feel inspired to talk about it. But if it's going to negatively impact other people because you haven't told them first and you give a fuck about those relationships, then I would suggest make sure you talk to those people first. And I have cleared the water there. So this is me right now coming to you to talk about where my headspace was at in 2018, my 29th year. It was a wake-up call of a year. And it started January about this time last year. I knew I was fucked. Those New Year's resolutions, this is a different year. And I lasted 1 week before I was back in the headspace of being a drug addict. There it is. I was a drug addict. I still identify I'm an addict. I experienced addiction. I'm speaking from a place now that I found the courage at last to ask for help, because it was a very, very dark space before I asked for courage to get that help. My headspace, the thoughts were, what I now know, are you an addict? Do you just use heavily? What's the difference? I was completely powerless over my drug of choice, was at that time cocaine and alcohol. I was completely powerless. I was doing it even when I didn't want to. And when I wanted to stop, despite all the negative consequences around me and how I felt about myself, despite all those things, I couldn't stop. Addiction is a motherfucker. It's so powerful, and I never realized how powerful it was until you try to stop. So asking for help, it was a last resort, because where I was at is like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I really don't. And every single day I'd wake up, this is the day. And 3-4 hours later, this thought hijacked straight into my brain, and the obsession, the compulsion around drinking drugs. What am I going to use? How am I going to do that? It starts all over again. And I'm a different person to what I was 4 hours earlier, when I was feeling like shit in the morning, waking up or just going all the way throughout the night. I didn't do it by myself. I couldn't. I tried and tried and tried to do it by myself, change all my circumstances, and I couldn't. And fortunately, there was one person that came into my life, a very, very dear friend of mine now, who suggested a 12-step meeting. And I was like, what? Like, my ideas of what I thought that was and what it wasn't. All I can say from my own personal experience is that 12-step program has absolutely 100% saved my life. And it hasn't just saved my life, it's given me a new life that I could never, they say it in the rooms, a life beyond your wildest dreams. I never ever thought that this person speaking to you right now, I actually kind of feel like a different person. I identify, look in the mirror, I'm the same, but I know I'm not the same. And it blows my mind. But just going back to, so I identified with a drug addict and experiencing drug addiction. But what I didn't know, I thought, the drug addiction, coke that kind of drug brought me to my knees. It completely floored me. But what I did learn is actually, I've been a drug addict I've experienced addiction and searching for something outside of myself, because there was this unrest, this irritability inside of me since I was about 15. Because 15 to 21, I had an eating disorder. I was bulimic. And when I first went into recovery, it's strange that you take away one thing, and within 4 days, my brain had gone back to the other thing, the food. I was bulimic at that age, and it was the same obsessive, compulsive things. I had no intention to eat loads throughout the day. I just eat normally, suddenly that thought would come in and I was like, food, food, food. I want to eat loads and then I want to get rid of it. What an existence. Like, horrible. So in my head, I was like, right, I've got the drugs. I don't want to use them, but I don't want to go back to that, because that space had destroyed a lot of my kind of identity when I was younger. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't really, late teenage years, and I wasn't going out partying or anything. At 19, I took a huge overdose because it was a massive cry for help. Like, I don't know I can't get out of this. And from then on, there was different periods. The bulimia stopped. I started smoking weed. And there was literally from then up until last year, there'd been some kind of vice, that I call it, some kind of thing that was pacifying and helping me to live life. And that's just sad. Now I look back now, I'm like, it was sad, but it was also necessary. It was necessary because without all those things, I couldn't do life. I didn't know how to deal life and deal with my emotions. My fears completely took over me. That I have fear of, from the 12 step, I've learned this. I have fear of being judged. I have fear of letting people down, a fear of expressing my true self, a fear around money, a fear around, I can't think of this. The 6, fear around being judged. They'll come to me if it comes to me. These fears were literally riding my life. Fear of discontentment and unhappiness. I never felt content. I was always searching for something. I was like, am I ever going to be really just happy with what I've got today? And that's a horrible feeling. They were ruling my life. And what then manifested, so when people were using coke and alcohol, most people, you think of it, if you know of it, it's a party drug. So people, you can get to the point of addiction if you're partying a lot and you're going out and it makes you really high and hype and you want to chat to everyone. My kind of using was very different to that. My using was actually based around my work and to help me focus and help me just stay organized and stay on track with things and not forget things and just be alert and remember things. It would actually calm me down. And so when I took away that, my life was very chaotic. And I'm self-employed. I'm a tattoo artist. And you would think it's a passion. I don't have a boss. I work my own timetable. It's my own business. And I earn good money. That's pretty dreamy. But I was really struggling with the day-to-day. I was struggling with a drawing that should take an hour. I was taking 5 hours because I was just like frantic all over the place. And I was like, this is not sustainable either. This is not a life that I can live. I was letting people down left, right and centre, so that was increasing my fear of letting people down because I was. And people on the phone to me, oh, where's the drawing? Blah, blah, blah. And I would just put off everything that made me enjoyed in my life. I'd put off going to the gym. I'd put off seeing friends because I was sat there until I did that drawing. And that's like an existence. And it was horrible. So I went and saw, again, I was willing to ask for help. Something still wasn't clicking. Something still wasn't right. And so I had a psychiatric assessment. I paid for a private psychiatric assessment and they diagnosed me with ADHD. And you do think, oh God, that's the boys at school running around, they're crazy, they're wild, blah, blah. And on the outside, on the surface, like that isn't me. Everything for me is internal. So maybe as a girl, I was very academic at school. I got straight A's, but then dropped out of school. Dropped out of school, moved to London, came back, went traveling, moved around the world at 18, literally your 18th birthday, like just searching for something to excite me so I could put my passion and energy into, but just completely self-sabotaging stuff because I'd be like, yeah, hyper-focus, love this, bored, over it, learned it, done it, next. But that's not a way to live either. It's good in a way that I don't kind of stick with something. If it's not working for me, I'll move on to the next. But also something that was exciting me, I'd just be bored by it. But I didn't understand. I didn't have a level of awareness of who I was. So 2018 was a very, very, very transformative year. And knowing all these things, experiencing all these things, you can probably tell I had to really get to work on myself, to unraveling, unpeeling, and like, how do I do life? Like, who am I? Who am I when I take away the drugs, take away the foods, like the obsessive and compulsiveness around stuff? Who am I? And I know who I am now. I'm still, of course, life doesn't stop here. I've finished the 12-step program. I've got clear with my resentments. I have done what was suggested to me to do, even though I didn't understand what the process was. And I still don't really get like what has happened to me, but I'm a new person today. I embrace my weirdness, my like sometimes can sound slightly aggressive chat. Like I've heard people have said that to me, and I just embraced my, sometimes not PC, I probably said the F word about 20,000 times in this. And before I'd be like, stop, I'm a bit perfectionist, can't say that, censoring myself. And I always wear sweats. I hate wearing heels. I'm not a girly girl. But I used to put on my dress. Like I do like wearing a dress in the summer. And I do like wearing skirts and shorts and like do my hair nice. Sometimes I do get my nails done, but I'm not super glam. And I used to apologize for that. And I'd rather go to the gym and wear my sweatpants and wear the same clothes. I'd wash them, but I'd rather wear them 5 days in a row because it takes so much energy trying to decide what to wear. But I embrace that. That is me. And my quirkiness, who I am. I was a drug addict. I still go to 12-step meetings because I really believe in that program. I really, really have to watch my food. But what I have learned is the daily principles and a way for living that anybody can take, whether you have suffered addiction or not. The principles that I've learned is self-care is number one. You've got to look at what makes you happy on a day-to-day basis. What simple things can you do that keep you in tune to you? That for me, it's meditation, journal, prayer, exercise to get rid of this energy. But it also just that endorphin high is winner, like love it. And sticking to what I said I was going to do. Self-discipline. I have an accountability diary where I wrote out all the things that I want to do, the small things that are manageable, and I tick them off every night. And that helped me to keep on track. That has helped me build self-confidence and self-discipline. So this feeling now, this spiritual awakening from doing the 12-step program, for actually like getting fucking real with myself and honest with another person, and then honest with my friends, my family, and everyone around. I want this to be who I am moving forward. So I've got to keep up the consistency. There's a saying like it works if you work it. And your life, wherever you are, whatever your circumstances and background, it works if you work it, if you show up for yourself on a daily basis. If you've got a huge vision and goal of where you want to get, you've got to start showing up for yourself right now. So figure it out. You know what lights you up. It might be reading a book, lying on the sofa, giving yourself 10 minutes to kind of like calm and meditate, or read that book. I don't know, stroke your cat. Not obsessively, just stroke your cat. Whatever it is, like if that soothes you and helps you feel connected to yourself and to a bigger, wider energy, the force field of nature, like going out for a walk in nature and just witnessing like the miracles out there, it is mind-blowing. That is all I can say, is absolutely mind-blowing. And having the biggest thing, identifying where my fears are. I know what my fears are, and they're a conscious thought on a daily basis. And because they're conscious thought, when things show up in my life that would be like, oh, it's automatic, like this is an opportunity to blast that fear out the water. Because your fears are the one thing that hold you back, or the thing that holds you back. And we've all got different fears, and they do not serve you in any way. It's the most incredible feeling to speak freely, to not care what people think. It might connect with you, might not. That's okay. That would have terrified me before. A new sense of life that is, I'm so excited for the future. I'm so excited for all the people that I'm connecting with now. I'm so excited for embracing myself with all the kind of weird things and experiences that I have been, or will probably still to come. I'm so excited for that. So one thing about this video, and if you could take anything away from it, is just show up for yourself today. Take a bet on yourself. Life is fucking magical. Life is worth living. And if you are stuck, that's okay. But what is not okay is to stay stuck. Because to stay stuck, you're actually going backwards. The rest of the world is revolving, moving, everything's moving forward. Nothing is ever the same. And if you're stuck, you're going backwards. And when you go backwards, the shame, the guilt, the fear, they rise. Like a bird. So take a bet on yourself today. Ask someone for help. If something I've said in this has really resonated with you, reach out to me, drop me a message. If I can't help you as such, then I might be able to kind of connect you with someone that can. If there's something in your life that you're struggling with, find someone that has what you want. Find someone that's relationship is working if yours isn't. Find someone that has trod the path that you want to tread, and just find the courage. Ask you, if you can't find, just get your hands together, pray to whatever you think is you might be able to understand and comprehend, some kind of like power bigger than you, and just ask the universe, like, show me how, give me the courage how, because one day, keep going, one day you'll find that courage, and that's the beginning of your new way of life. That is the beginning of you literally lighting the fuck up, setting your own inner world on fire, and internally everything else around you seems to light up like a million billion particles of gold with rainbows and unicorns. And I'm not crazy, I'm just experiencing a new way of being, and I'm so grateful for everyone that has embraced my 20s, everyone that stood by me, everyone that still believed in me even when I had no belief whatsoever. You can do it. You can show up for yourself. You can start living with your 50, 20, whatever your age. Just do it.